This is 8 News Now at 6.
Residents of Rachel, Nevada, the tiny town that's world famous because it sits on the doorstep of Area 51, are on edge.
Someone has been buying up property under their noses, and when they checked to find out who it was, they found ties to the white supremacy movement. George Knapp of the I-Team is here to tell us the exclusive story.
You have to be kind of tough to live out there in Rachel. Not a lot of amenities, of course. So when the only gas station in town gets gobbled up and then shut down, and when the only trailer park gets purchased then wiped out, it's bound to attract attention. And when residents learn that the people who've been buying up their town have ties to neo-Nazis and white supremacists, they were creeped out and anxious.
Rachel, Nevada is the #1 attraction on the world's only extraterrestrial highway. That said, there's not a whole lot to it. The heart and soul of the town is the Little Ailey Inn, which is capitalized on its proximity to the world's most famous classified military base, Area 51.
I have candles, I have patches, I have pins.
For 25 years, the owners have scratched out an existence by catering to UFO hunters and desert travelers. But these days, they're worried, all because of a mystery man who came to town.
Who is this person? And why are you keeping yourself so secret from this community? Because he didn't show his face to anybody.
I was in shock. I didn't want to believe it.
The first sign of trouble was when someone bought the town's only convenience store and gas station. Weeks after it was purchased, the new owner shut it down, which means residents and visitors have to travel 55 miles to buy gas or a loaf of bread.
It was the only gas station in town. Now, we keep a little gas for emergency purposes because we have motorcycles that get this far, and no matter what they do, they're just done. Or people, they don't pay attention to the signs that say the next fuel is 150 miles.
Next, the trailer park and RV lot, home to dozens of long-term residents as well as snowbirds, was scooped up, then shut down. Residents were told to leave, and today it's an empty lot. The pastor at the small Baptist church next door saw his congregation drop by 2/3.
But the numbers were dwindling because I could look out the front door of the church and see that the trailer park was completely cleaned out. I could see that the whole town population was going down. The actual census right now is in the neighborhood of 75 people in Rachel, and it was closer to 300 when we came there.
So it was about 300, it's now down to 75, and most of that is because of him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Pastor Robert Keniston and his wife live in Boulder City, but make the 350-mile road trip every Sunday in order to tend their Rachel flock. Keniston discovered that the same man who purchased the store and the trailer park had also scooped up several large parcels of raw land in the heart of Rachel. Property records show the owner, Richard Bunk, quickly transferred his new real estate into the name of the JHM Baptist Church. Keniston was floored when he looked it up.
Their church is identified by the experts as Christian identity and neo-Nazi. And those two little niches are the most dangerous, I'm told.
Watchdog groups list JHM Church as a white supremacist outfit in the same category with the KKK and racist skinheads. It's the same name Richard Bunk uses for his business as a licensed Nevada contractor. The initials JHM are believed to stand for John Hale McGee, a Southern California minister affiliated with the American Nazi Party and who preached the gospel of white supremacy. When Keniston told Rachel residents what he'd uncovered, he got a visit from Richard Bunk.
And he looked at me and he said, there's a story going around town that I am a neo-Nazi and I'm a white supremacist. And he says, I believe you are the reason for that story. And I said, I believe you are the reason for that story. And that was the end of that conversation.
Richard Bunk's Nazi affiliations have surfaced before. In the 90s, he and John Hale McGee ran for public office in Southern California. Candidate Bunk at first denied any connection to racist groups, but reporters dug up these photos showing Bunk in the 70s at Nazi rallies wearing a Nazi-type uniform with swastikas and anti-Jewish signs. Bunk's first lie fell apart, so he tried other stories.
He finally came in and he gave us this bullshit about how he was part of some FBI, undercover thing, and that story ended up falling apart later. It was clearly a lie, and he ended up just saying that basically where he admits, no, I wasn't the FBI, but I was, young, it was indiscretion. I didn't really believe those things, didn't know what I was doing.
Gary Scott didn't buy the idea that it was a passing fancy by Bunk, especially since Bunk has been arrested at least twice at pro-Nazi rallies. Today, decades later, he is still using the name of his now deceased friend and neo-Nazi mentor.
When I look up the name on the side of his truck or the church that he's associated with, the first thing that pops up is linked to white supremacists. What am I supposed to think?
Residents of Rachel say they've recently been interviewed by FBI agents who asked them questions about Mr. Bunk and his intentions. We tried to reach Mr. Bunk through the contact information on his contractor's license, but have not yet received a response. The I-Team will have further reports on this as new information surfaces. He has told some people that he's disavowed those beliefs, that was what he believed when he was younger, but I'd like to hear him tell it to us. We'll let you know.
Gosh, thank you, George.